Hi everyone. Before learning about living organisms, let us learn one simple thing, that is a cell. Cell is nothing. That means it is not what we talk. That means not cell phone or which is not used in the battery. So in this sense, cell is a living form. Our human body is made up of cells. All the living organisms are made up of cells and their components. So cells combine to form tissue. Some cells combine to form tissue. Tissues combine to form organ. Organs combine to form organ system. Organ systems combine to form organism. Organisms combine to form community. Communities combine to form population. All the population combine to form biosphere. Biosphere is nothing but earth. Bio means life. The sphere which is having life is called as earth. So let us see in detail. Cells combine to form tissue. అంటే టిష్యూ లోపల ఏముంటాయి? సెల్స్. కొన్ని సెల్స్ కంబైన్ అయ్యి టిష్యూని ఫామ్ చేస్తాయి. కొన్ని టిష్యూస్ కలిసి ఆర్గాన్ని ఫామ్ చేస్తాయి. కొన్ని ఆర్గాన్స్ కలిపి ఆర్గాన్ సిస్టమ్ ఫామ్ అవుతాయి. కొన్ని ఆర్గాన్ సిస్టమ్స్ కలిసి ఆర్గానిజం ని ఫామ్ చేస్తాయి. ఎలాగంటే ఆర్గాన్ సిస్టమ్ ఏంటి? ఆర్గాన్ సిస్టమ్స్ లైక్ నర్వస్ సిస్టమ్, respiratory system, excretory system, digestive system, circulatory system. These are few types of organ systems. So nervous system, respiratory system, excretory system, digestive system, circulatory system. Now let us see organs ఏమున్నాయి nervous system లో. Different organs combine to form nervous system. Circulatory system ఏమున్నాయి? heart, blood vessels. Digestive system, from mouth to anus there are different organs combined to form a digestive system. Excretory system in the same way. Then respiratory system, so from nose to lungs we have a respiratory system. So different organs combine to form organ system, and all these organ systems combine to form organism. Means if all the cells in the tissue works, then all the tissue works, organ works. If all the organs in the organ system works, then only organism works. Now let us learn about living organisms. Living organisms are those which have life. Those organisms which have life are called as living organisms. Now you revise once or you think once, what are the living organisms that are surrounding you? Just go in your mind and see these living organisms have life. Before saying that these living organisms have life, we could say that these living organisms shows some characteristics. Some characteristics by which we could say those organisms have life. Characters like nutrition, respiration, excretion, growth, reproduction, movement, response to stimulus. These are the few characteristics of living organisms. So, by these characters, we could say that an organism is having life or not. These living organisms, they may be unicellular or multicellular. Living organisms may be unicellular or multicellular. That means small microorganisms to man or big things like trees, animals. So they have life. That means living organisms ranges from unicellular to multicellular organisms. So now let us see how we could say that an organism is having life or not. Living organisms will take food, they will eat or take food, they will eat or take food. Simply nutrition is nothing but intake of food is called as nutrition, as the nutrients required by the living organism is procured by the food. That means food contain the nutrients and we eat the food and will get the nutrients required for our body. So intake of food is called as nutrition. Each and every living organism require food to perform metabolic activities. Then respiration, intake of air, simply intake and release of air is called as respiration. Intake of air and release of air is called as a respiration. Intake of air is called as inspiration and release of air is called as expiration. So intake of air is called as inspiration or inhalation. Release of air is called as expiration or exhalation. Both these two together called as a respiration. All the living organisms will respire, and when we go to this respiration, it is of two types, aerobic and anaerobic. Or let us keep them aside. In intake of air, we utilize oxygen and we add carbon dioxide to that and we release air into the atmosphere. That means respiration is one of the characteristic of living organisms. మనం చాలా సార్లు చూస్తుంటాం సీరియల్స్లో కానీ సినిమాలలో కానీ ముక్కు దగ్గర వేలు పెట్టి చూస్తుంటారు. రెస్పిరేషన్ జరుగుతుంటే ఆర్గానిజం బ్రతికున్నట్టు, లేదంటే ఆర్గానిజం చనిపోయినట్టు. దెన్ ఎక్స్క్రీషన్, దట్ ఈస్ sending out waste materials from the body is called as excretion. All living organisms will excrete. What we said, from unicellular to multicellular organisms, from small to big animals, every living organism will do excretion. So we said here energy required for metabolic activities. In the same way, in each and every metabolic activity, waste material will be produced and they should be sent out of the body in various forms. Example, we also excrete. So we'll urinate and we'll defecate and we will send these waste materials out of the body. Each and every living organism, if it is a living organism, it should excrete. Then growth is one of the important character of living organism. All the living organisms will grow in a size, shape or height. Living organisms will grow in size, shape or height. So when we come to this, animals will grow up to only certain age or only certain extent. After that, the growth in the animals will be ceased. But in plants, the growth is a continuous process and the plants will grow continuously throughout their life. ప్లాంట్స్ ఎప్పుడు అవి బ్రతికున్న రోజులు పెరుగుతూనే ఉంటాయి, కానీ అనిమల్స్ మాత్రము ఒక స్టేజ్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత, సర్టెన్ ఏజ్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత గ్రోత్ అనేటువంటిది అనిమల్స్ లో ఆగిపోతుంది. సో గ్రోత్ ఈజ్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్ ఆఫ్ లివింగ్ organisms. Then మూమెంట్, దీనే మనము లోకోమోషన్ అని కూడా అంటాం. Moving from one place to another place is called as a locomotion. Animals will move from one place to another place, but plants cannot move from one place to another place. So movement is one of the important characters of living organisms, as we are saying this, but plants cannot move. That means does they don't have life? No, they have life. Even though plants cannot move, they have life, because see here, these are the few characters of living organisms, but all these characters may not be seen in all the living organisms. Only few may be seen. Even though few may be seen, it is having life. కొన్ని క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఉన్నప్పటికీ కూడా దానికి ప్రాణం ఉన్నట్లే. లివింగ్ ఆర్గానిజమ్స్ లో క్యారెక్టర్స్ అన్ని ఉండాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం లేదు. ఇట్ వేరీస్ ఫ్రమ్ ఆర్గానిజం టు organism and type of organism. So if we see different kinds of organisms spread across the world on this earth in different places, ఒక్కొక్క ప్లేస్ లో ఒక్కొక్క రకమైన ఆర్గానిజం అనేటువంటిది ఉంటుంది. దానికి తగిన క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ దానికి ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట, డిపెండింగ్ అపాన్ దేర్ సరౌండింగ్స్. దాని గురించి మనం నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ లో మనం తెలుసుకుంటాము. దెన్ మూమెంట్, లోకోమోషన్, మూవింగ్ ఆఫ్ అనిమల్స్ ఆర్ మూమెంట్ is from one place to another place is called as a locomotion. Animals will move from one place to another place in search of food, shelter, or for protection, or to avoid adverse climatic conditions. Then response to stimulus. Response to stimulus. What is meant by this stimulus? That means the change in the environment which brings about a response in the organism is called as stimulus. So these stimulus or changes in the environment can be recognized by sense organs. All the living organisms are equipped with sense organs, and the sense organs will sense the changes in the atmosphere or surroundings, and the organism will act according to the changes, and it will respond to that. So sense organs will recognize the stimulus. All the living organisms will respond to stimulus. And last but not least, reproduction. Reproduction is nothing but producing young ones. All the living organisms will tend to produce their young ones. So this is one of the characteristic of living organism. See, as we said earlier, there might these all characters may not be appear in all the living organisms. That means, see, reproduction, పిల్లల కనడాన్ని రీప్రొడక్షన్ అంటాము, యంగ్ మన్స్ కనడాన్ని రీప్రొడక్షన్ అంటాము. కానీ పిల్లలు పుట్టిన వాళ్ళకి ప్రాణం లేనట్ట కాదు కదా. సో ఏంటంటే అన్ని క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ అన్ని ఒక ఆర్గానిజం లో ఉండాలని లేదు. ఎలాగంటే పిల్లలు కనే వాళ్ళకి లైఫ్ ఉన్నట్లే, ఎలాగైతే మూమెంట్ లేదు, ప్లాంట్స్ లో మూమెంట్ లేదు, కానీ ప్లాంట్స్ కి ప్రాణం ఉంటుంది. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద ఫ్యూ క్యారెక్టరిస్టిక్స్ ఆఫ్ లివింగ్ organisms, like nutrition, intake of food is called as nutrition, respiration, intake and release of air is called as respiration, excretion, sending out of waste materials is called as excretion, growth, all living organisms will grow in size, shape or height, and reproduction, producing young ones is called as a reproduction, movement or locomotion, movement of animals are moving of parts or moving from one place to another place is called as locomotion, response to stimulus, that means responding the organism to the changes in the environment or its surroundings is called as a response to stimulus. So these sense organs will help us to escape from danger or in search of food, shelter, all these things.